right? Who is the goddess of the purification of the soul, as well as the abyss. Also, that's over there in called Tamaray. Everybody want to call it Egypt. Everybody want to call it Kemet, whatever. I refer to it as what they refer to it as, and that was Ta Mordae, right? Which means the land of the Moors, or the Moors. So within that, now we want to bring it now to South America to show the connection. And here's the ancient Jaguar man, also referred to as the Jaguar people, who are referred to as the so-called Olmec, or what we refer to as the Western Z. Z being spelled X-I, or Z, or Ixi. So within that, now we put that all together with your man in the middle, right? We get the whole correspondence of the fact that really this is a symbol of the transmuting essence of melanin within the fact that it can manifest in different portions of the empire, but still maintain its original fortitude, right? So let's get into Wakanda, where that comes from. There's a book called Ancient Asiatic Kingdoms, Lost Ancient Asiatic Kingdoms. This is from this book. This is where we get the term Wakanda from, and this is also why most of the stuff they do over there is related to everything that was over here. And that when we talk about Africa over there, we're also talking about Northwest, Southwest Africa over here, because our people never distinguished the two to such an extent that we would cut our familial ties off with one another just based upon something as stupid as racism. Because at the time that we existed, racism didn't exist. So they always want to regale Moors to Spain, but what you got to remember is that Moors existed before Spain. Moors existed before Italy. Moors existed before every country that you're living in right now. We existed before then as this. So again, this type of, let's say, headdress as we get into, you'll see in the Black Panther movie, they refer to the Panther's costume as a habit. They don't call it a costume. The same way I've been telling y'all all these years that this is a national headdress, which is also referred to as a habit. You understand? So whenever you're in habit, you are representing some sort of theocratic aristocracy that our people have the right and the bloodline to match to, right? So this is how Wakanda, T'Challa, the Black Panther, all of that is referred to or related to the old Moorish Empire and the original so-called American Indians. Y'all ready? From the continent of South America, before finally arriving to the Mississippi Delta region, here they were met by their ancient brothers, the Iroquois serpents. Now, the people they're talking about that went up to Mississippi Delta is the so-called Ixi, the Olmec people, all right? And they're saying that they went up and met their brothers who were referred to as the Iroquois, who was referred to as the serpents, because the term Iroquois means serpent. Just like the Nimbus crown or the serpent that you see in the front. The same way you see my habit today comes to a peak like that, because that can either be seen as a crow's beak, right? Or an eagle's beak, or a snake's face. So this is what they would say, this type of shamag is called like a cobra style, right? When you wear it like this. So the Iroquois serpents, Iroquois means serpents, who followed them up the river in snakeskin covered boots to a territory in the far north. After settling in their new homeland, the turtles became known as the Lakota, with a K sound, right? With the K sound of the serpents. The Sioux, who were their other cousins, were referred to as the snakes. So you have the Iroquois, who were the serpents. You had the Olmecs, who were the Jaguars or the Panthers. You have the Lakota, who represent the snakes. And then according to the late Dakota of the extinct elk tribe of Algonquins, right? This is where you get the elk right, or the people that's in the elk masonry, whatever. They try to celebrate them in secret. The elk tribe of the Algonquins, the long journey of the two tribes is commemorated at the Serpent Mound in Ohio, which depicts the turtle leading the snake, right? So from there, the Sioux's early South American connections are apparently corroborated by the word waka, or in plural, wakana, right? A term found in the dialects of both the Lakota, meaning the original Moorish American Indians, and certain Peruvian tribes. Now, we also know that Peru was also a part of the empire as well. When you look up the ancient Peruvian empires, you'll see nothing but dark-skinned people, darker than me, people darker than that. So, long story short, the Peru tribe. So this shows the connection that the tribes of North, Central, and South America all were connected as brothers and sisters and used totemic ideology as a means to signify their intent to the whole. Islam? So, the natives of the coastal highland Peru called the spirits of the unseen world and anything unusual or mysterious as Waka. Similarly, for ages, the Sioux have referred to the spirits of the unseen world as the Wakan. The term Da comes from the Peruvian or the ancient Sioux dialect name for father, right? So when we put the name together for the all-pervasive, Wakanda means the great mysterious land of the ancient fathers. Islam? So when we say again Wakanda now, we're dealing with a concept that is actually homegrown here in America, in these so-called Americas. But again, they always want us to go to Africa.
And remember, if, the studies are correct, based off of the animals and the insects we have found here, based off of their own writings about the traditions of the people they found here, this is the promised land. And they showed it to us with play on words, like the land of promises. They're coming to the land of promise, the promised land, right? Abraham's children were supposed to be innumerable when it comes to counting, right? They're supposed to be more than the sands of the sea. So how is that little strip of land you call Palestine supposed to be the promised land versus the promise of how many descendants he would have? If you were to try to fit the sands of the sea in the Americas, I bet you it would fit versus Palestine. Plus, Palestine, 80% of the land is owned by the Rothschilds, not by the Creator and the Jewish people. Pause this for a moment.
Blank video with it itself. Fair use.
Fair use.
You know what fair use means? We have the right to listen, teach, criticize, all that good stuff.
A mystery. I think the bigger mystery is why people would think that motif on Fort Mountain is a fort. It's nothing like a fort. It's a terrible fort. And then when you look at Old Stone Fort in Tennessee, it's too big for a small European army. And when you look at DeSoto Falls and the fort there at DeSoto, it's too small. It's most probably the Spanish themselves who made it into an officer's cabin, but you wouldn't be able to defend it for long. It would keep an officer safe, but it wouldn't keep an army safe. And so it's not a contender. So none of those have all been distractions. There's been so much disinformation, even in the alt stream, that has prevented people like Wilson and Blackett's research, legitimate, deep research with whole family trees. I mean, they have a family tree. I put it into genie.com. In one night I put over 200 names and how they were all related right into the genie.com. Unfortunately, it's cited in the paper, but unfortunately, Genie they came in and just deleted it. And I'm like, gosh, this conspiracy is so strong. I can't even keep research up, and they were in the Welsh names, so I was like, did it offend them that these were Welsh names? I don't know what it is, but you're just not allowed to make King Arthur what he really was, which is a post-Roman empire.
Hold on. So again, you've understood my point about Romans being black. You've understood about black Welsh, black this, black that, right? Black Holland, right? Black Dutch, right? And then you have, the opposite. Okay? So if Arthur is Welsh fighting with Rome, this is black on black. Here's something somebody showed recently. The Roman Empire And something that's going to be said is splinter territories. I've been explaining this as ambassador buildings and things of this nature. It's called splinter territories. I'll find it here in a little bit. One of the viewers talked about New York used to be called Constantinople. And as I'm looking for this, what's going to come up is the fall of Western Rome, right? And they're gonna just paint this however they want. But the Byzantine era, here it is. Byzantine splintered territories. And it's going to get to start telling you about the Byzantine is the combination of Rome and Greek. Now, again, if it's Black Rome and Black Greek, then you see in America, we have all these Roman pillars and Greek statues on all these buildings. And these, no offense, these white people did not create this.
Dark Age, brilliant young king. He actually reigned a long time. His father lived a very long time, over 90 years, maybe over 100 years. King Arthur was desperate to find new lands after the 535 comet. It was devastating. They couldn't grow anything, and they knew about Kentucky. They knew why, because probably the Phoenicians had been over there from a long time before. And there's some really good evidence that
Remember, if America is the promised land, that's the land of Canaan being given to the Israelites. So Phoenicia and Philistines, any other Canaanite would have some kind of splinter city, splintered empire, right? Splintered territories. We'd be foolish. These were world travelers, kings of the seven seas. We'd be foolish not to respect this.
there's a connection to the mounds in Kentucky.
Listen,
to all the way to the Amazon.
All the way to the Amazon. What does Lamentations say? Follow the mounds home. Make ye waymarks. Right? He just told us where to go. What are they looking for in the Amazon? What are they looking for in the Amazon? The lost city. You can stay here and be the arrows, or you can prepare for the long walk home.
You know, and you think about this, right? When the 12 tribes split up, or, the 12 tribes split up, right? And there was a North land and a South land, the North country and the South country. And you read about, the journeys they had to make, for certain festivals, certain traditions, and things like that. I'm specifically trying to recall the stuff with Rehoboam and Jeroboam. You have now the whole part in the beginning of this where they're showing you how the Olmec, the Jaguar tribe, would meet up with the Algonquin, right, the Snake tribe, and they would follow him up to Ohio to the Turtle Mounds. That reminds me of the whole Rehoboam, Jeroboam, let's split. We don't want to make that journey, so let's just build a temple and an altar here so we don't have to do that, breaking the covenants. Wakanda, where is it? Wakanda, Wisconsin. It's like, I didn't realize this until a few weeks, 2 weeks ago. And I was sitting on it trying to figure out how to put this all together.
So listen, they have a unique principle about these to be able to prove